Antonio Gibson is someone who just had a productive game because he had a 73-yard catch and run on a screen. That's not something he does a lot of, and certainly catching passes isn't something that he's apparently not going to do as much of as we thought he would. Played 0 third downs last week. J.D. Mckissick still a part of that passing downs package for Washington. Gibson wasn't very good as a runner. I think he only has 6 plays total this year with 10-plus yards gained. I'm worried about his schedule moving forward. I don't like the way that he's being used. He is not breaking out into a workhorse like we projected him to, and he's coming off of a very good game. I think he's going to have another good game this week. So I would start trying to make moves to get what you can and sell high on Antonio Gibson. Don't give him away. We're not trading him for Jacoby Myers and Tyler Higbee. We're looking for something better than that. Maybe we're packaging Antonio Gibson with another player on our team to get a much better running back. That's what I would look for. I am worried about him week 5 on.
Okay.
In that same vein.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I'd try to see what I could get for Najee Harris.
I was going to say, who would you rather have, Gibson or Harris?
I think I'd still take Gibson. Harris, like last week, was awesome. And it was super fun that he got 19 targets. I believe the second most for a running back ever. Alvin Kamara had 21 year. But you got to look at just how terribly inefficient he and this entire offense has been. Through the first 2 games, he had 130 yards on 32 touches and 1 touchdown. He's averaging 3.08 yards per carry, YPC for life.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that he's playing all the time, and I do think he's going to be a starting running back. But if somebody sees, man, Najee Harris is getting 80% of the carries and he has a 20% target share, he's going to be a number 1 running back. I don't really think he's probably going to be a number 1 running back. And I don't think his targets will be anything remotely close to last week, as long as, as we expect, Deontay Johnson and Juju are back and just stay healthy the rest of the year.
And this, Heath, is why I can't see a scenario where Zeke is not a top 12 running back. I just don't think there are 12 running backs that we're going to feel comfortable with. You're not going to, put Kareem Hunt ahead of Ezekiel Elliott. You know what I mean? It's just, if you are lucky enough to have 2 great must-start running back, not even must-start because Gibson and Najee are must-starts, but 2 great, first-round caliber running backs, you hit the jackpot. You drafted DeAndre Swift, and, it's not
right.
It's not that easy.
I know what you're saying, and it's right. I just don't I don't know that we thought that just a week ago.
I kind of did. I thought
he ran the ball 41 times against the Eagles, and so the fact that he shared just as much.
Oh, about Zeke. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he shared just as much in week 3 as he did in week 2, and it's just okay because they ran the ball 41 times.
No, I mean, I felt pretty good about him after week 2. And he had 16 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown.
I did too. Yep.
Yeah, I felt good about him.
I felt good that they were running the ball, and that they actually found a game where they could be balanced. So that was encouraging on Ezekiel Elliott. Back to Najee. I mentioned Gibson had 6 plays of 10+ yards so far this season. Najee's at 7. Now, the one thing that is in Najee's favor is that I think he's locked into playing all the snaps for Pittsburgh. Like, they're not taking him off the field very much of it all, and he's definitely getting targets. So I see Harris as a little bit better in regardless of format, just because he's getting opportunities in the passing game that Gibson isn't getting. And look, I don't know if they can fix Roethlisberger, but I do think they can eventually make the offensive line a little bit better than what we've seen. It's been dreadful through 3 weeks.
I do want to say, I don't know that there's going to be much of a difference between Harris and Gibson's targets at all. The first 2 weeks of the season, Harris had 8 and Gibson had 7. Harris got a ton of targets when Deontay Johnson and Juju were out, but Gibson has the same number of targets as McKissick this year. They're just chopping him up. Well, last year that was 150 targets for the running backs. So that means 75 targets for Gibson this year. I don't know if Harris gets there.
Well, Harris already has a third of that, so it's not like
you don't get credit for those moving forward. If we're having a conversation,
if you're asking me who's going to get more targets the rest of the season between Gibson or Harris, my answer is going to be obvious. It's going to be Harris, and it's going to be backed by.
Are you projecting Deontay and Juju to miss more games?
No, I'm projecting Ben Roethlisberger to be getting rid of the ball after a second and a half every time he takes a snap for at least the next 6 weeks. So that's going to help Najee Harris get targets. It's clearly an implemented part of their offense. Whereas Gibson, I'll say it again, 0 third downs played last week. He actually started the year playing some third downs and getting some work in passing situations. And it seems to be dissipating for him. It makes me nervous. And it's not like his offensive line is that much better than Najee's.
Brandon Cooks is a top 8 wide receiver. What would you trade Brandon Cooks for if you were going to sell?
Allen Robinson.
I think you can get more than Robinson for Cooks at this point.
But you would rather have Robinson.
I would.
It's, if you look at their careers, I mean, they both very accomplished careers. They've both been top 15-ish wide receivers. Robinson a little bit better. They're both on bad offenses, but Cooks might have a bigger target share than Allen Robinson. Maybe we just discounted Cooks too much. What's different about him than Robinson? Just you think at the end of the day, more targets for Robinson?
I think there's a better. I know it hasn't been the case so far. I think that Robinson will have better quarterback play for the rest of the season than Brandon Cooks.
Okay.
You know why that might be the case? What happens if Cooks gets traded? Let's say there's a team.
We talked about that a lot. I didn't realize, and somebody had tweeted it to me, I do not believe Brandon Cooks will accept a trade.
He said back in January that he didn't want to get traded because he wanted to spend time this offseason working with Deshaun Watson in Houston.
But I think he reiterated that after the whole Watson thing had come out.
Maybe he did. I didn't read that if he did, but push comes to shove. If he's on a team that's going nowhere, he wants to stay there, catching passes from Tyrod and Davis Mills.
I think the thing was he was tired of people determining when he was going to move and where he was going to live, and he wanted to make that choice for himself. He did not enjoy the process of being traded 3 times in 4 years.
I didn't know he had a no trade clause in his contract.
I don't think he does. I think he just said he's not going to play if you trade for him.
I don't buy it at all. It could be a break. It could be like 1 in 5. I don't even know when the trade deadline is. Why wouldn't he want to get traded? Come on now.
And it's not a certainty that he will get traded. It's just something that'll be out there. There are going to be teams that are going to look for receiver help at the deadline. This is someone who Houston's definitely open for business. They will trade anybody they possibly can.
I'll be really, really quick at him, but it's not a football thing. He's a human being. You would hate it if you had to move across the country 4 times in 5 years.
I know, but he's a competitor. I think at the end of the day, if he gets the chance to go to a Super Bowl contender, he might change his mind.
Right. Like what if the Chiefs decided to trade for Cooks instead of, let's say Josh Gordon fizzles out